All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. Harmless Dave here talking about real music in real time for real people just like you right there, just like me right here. David Crosby is asking Neil Young for forgiveness. If you don't know the whole story here, one of my patrons gave me a little bit more of this backstory where apparently David Crosby had some really nasty things to say about Neil Young's current wife, who I believe is Daryl Hannah. All right, I'm pretty sure. But if I'm wrong, it's because I haven't followed this as closely as some of my cohorts over on Patreon who were either really into the drama or just love the music of Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, which you can certainly count me as part of the latter group. The political side of these guys, it didn't irritate me that much listening to their music because back in the old days, these guys were all over causes that proved to be correct. Okay, things that they were right about. Lately, it just seems that everybody has gone haywire into politics. And yeah, I guess you could argue that these guys were doing this at the very outset of their career, and it became a part of what they did. I've made peace with like Roger Waters and some of his things that he's said and done because he's always been doing it. But Crosby is basically pleading with Young so they can get back together in time for the American election. Please get back together again so we could fix the election. Again, I kind of marvel at the hubris and the presumption and all of those things, and there are other words I could throw in there, but the self-importance of it all. How about for the fans? How about for people who miss this music? And in David Crosby's case here, he's got some financial issues. So I think his motivation is probably more financial than political. I mean, the politics obviously set up a perfect storm, enough where maybe Neil Young might say, okay, you win. You know, let's do this for the good of the country. That song is what Neil and Stephen and Graham and I should be singing right now, every bleeping night. Please, Neil, if you read this, forgive me and let's do the right thing and help right now. The country and the people need the help we can give. See what I'm saying? And he's talking about a song they wrote about George W. Bush, which apparently they can apply to the current president. Again, I hate politics in the realm of music when it becomes divisive in the sense that there are fans on both sides of the issue. Now, you may say, well, a lot of the fans on the other side probably aren't listening to Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young these days. I would disagree with that. The music is so good. I mean, these guys were pioneers that if you disagree with the politics, you'll hold your nose and listen. And that's what they're hoping for. That's why they think they're such great influencers. I don't know if they are or they're not. Most of the time, I think they're kind of preaching to the choir. And they're preaching to people who either are okay and can kind of listen without worrying about the politics, or who are listening because of the politics, which I think, again, these guys had so much talent that I think they transcend the political, but again, Crosby here using it as leverage to hopefully get back with Neil Young. I think he knows he made a mistake by what he did, and so this is a nice and convenient way to kind of regroup. We'll see if Neil Young responds. Neil Young is a stubborn old goat, and all these guys are. I mean, watch some of the Graham Nash footage leaning hard into David Crosby. But even Nash has kind of mellowed out now. I think Nash and Crosby could probably find a way to get back together again. Neil Young really doesn't need anybody either at this stage. I mean, he's Neil Young. He's got his own thing. And he did a lot of stuff apart from these guys and was very successful. And in any event, we'll see how it plays out. This is old school, very old school drama in a very old band that may or may not get back together again. No word, by the way, from Stephen Stills, but I'm sure he would join in if these guys made amends. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right, done with this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. We are getting very close to that 30,000 goal, which I didn't have as a goal, but here it is, 30K. Thanks to you all and Patreon. We need more patrons. 100 and we got less than 200 patrons and almost 30,000 subscribers. So I'm looking for support because, again, revenue in this particular profession is what it is. I've made it into a job. I've tried to be dedicated to it, so I provide content daily. I do take a day off. I took yesterday off for Father's Day, but back at it today. And if you can help me out, $1 a month goes a long way. And if we could even get 1,000 people to do $1 a month, that'd be good. That would be fine. I could just, sit back and say, okay, that's good. And if anyone else wants to give, that's entirely up to them. But just hit the logo, the Patreon logo, and that'll take you over to Patreon if you are interested in becoming a patron. All right, done with that. Be back soon, and I'll see you then.